log in, let's get it in. Yo, Instagram Live.
Troy?
Yeah. Oh, that's the California son. Deiltrick Haddon has just joined the live. We're about to get in conversation. I'm gonna send Deiltrick a request here. Then we should be good to go. Yeah, I see you, Deiltrick. Let's do this. Big shouts to John for the link up. Appreciate it, man. UK to the US.
What's up, Dan?
What's up, brothers?
Can you hear me well? Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, bro. I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Fantastic, man. I got Mickey Stevenson here.
What's happening? What's happening?
Salute, Mickey. Pleasure.
What y'all got going on in the UK?
Well, right now, I'm just chilling on a Saturday evening, just relaxing. I've been, just been enjoying you guys' content all day, and got some good questions for you, man, and hope we can have a great conversation today, man, and share with the audience, UK to the US to worldwide,
What's good, y'all, in the UK? So it's Saturday evening there. What time is it?
Yeah, the time right now is 8:16 p.m.
8:16, so it's 12 noon.
Yeah.
On the West Coast. Wow.
You in LA? You in LA?
LA all day.
That California sun.
Oh yeah, soaking in the sun, man.
8 hours difference.
It's about 8 hours.
Wow. Okay.
It's about 8 hours.
Yeah, it's about 8 hours. Yeah.
Every time I visit the UK, man, it's always y'all don't have the sunshine all the time. Is the sun shining?
No, right.
Every time I come, it's like a little overcast. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, this overcast thing is still the same, brother. It's still the same.
Still beautiful people. The sun is shining through y'all, your hearts and your eyes. Beautiful people. Great.
That's it, man. We get like one day of sun, and then we get a bit of rain, then a bit of sun, then a bit of cloud. That's the mixture. That's how we do it over here.
Wow.
So golf is terrible over there, I take it.
You know what? There's some good courses though. You would love it. You would love it, Mickey.
But but you can't play if it's gonna be like the weather's like that. 2 days a month. Like Detroit.
Yeah, just a couple of days a month. So people are just tuning in right now. We are here. Deiltrick Haddon, Mickey Stevenson, Dan Blake, Music Worldwide. We're just checking in, and I want to start it off right now with the main man. I see Deiltrick Haddon, and Mickey Stevenson. Let's start this interview off. Let's talk about, there's some serious issues right now, as you know, worldwide. George Floyd murder, Black Lives, front of the headlines worldwide. What's your feelings on like the current state and how we need to move forward and move in action right now?
I believe nothing happens just by happenstance. I believe everything happens for a reason. And it's a reason why all these things are happening all together in one space and time. A generation is a group of people that are experiencing the same exact thing at the same time. And so in our generation, we're seeing racism, systemic racism and police brutality in a way we've never seen it before. We've never seen it before. And I'm not saying that during the civil rights time, they've seen it in an unprecedented way, but we're seeing it in a very unprecedented way. And I believe it's happening for a reason. See, when a boil appears on the body, it's a result of the immune system drawing the infection to a particular place. So now that thing is manifesting into a boil and to a head. Now you're able to extract the infection out because you know where it is. But until it comes to a boiling point or a boiling place, it's in there and you can never get it extracted out. So I believe this is happening so that we can get it out. It's time for our nation, America, and in the UK and all over the world for us to flush out this thing of racism and classism and all this stuff that just don't make any sense. You know, people are judging people based on the color of their skin, and this police brutality, it's come to a head so we can deal with it, because you can't fix what you refuse to confront.
Yes. Yes.
So now it's coming to a place where we can confront it, and people say, wait a minute. Yeah, it's always been there, and it's time for it to come out. It's time for it, because we've been dealing with it in spurts, here, there, bop, and we get upset, we go to marching, but now it happened all at one time. That means it's come to a boiling point for us to deal with it. So that's why we're protesting. That's why we won't let up off of it. That's why, because every day is happening to somebody somewhere, and enough is enough.
Mickey, any thoughts?
Well, I mean, he laid it out pretty good, because like he said, everything comes to a place where we can recognize it and deal with it openly. And the good part about it is, back to another point he brought up, is that, you know, before with Martin Luther King and that was happening, we were marching and all that. We had a 85% black march and a 15% white participants.
Right.
Now it's flipped over. We got 15% black march and 85% white participants. That means they had enough of it as well. Those are the millennials now, 35 and under. They don't want to hear about this garbage. They want it to be like it's supposed to be. So he got some great points, and I think it's all the man upstairs laid this out for a purpose. Bring everybody's attention to, let's clean this up. That's what I think.
So everybody's tired of it. We're done with it. Even white people, black people, everybody. We're just done with this. You know?
And COVID-19, you know, lockdown. How have you guys been? How's your mental health, and just how you feeling in general?
Well, I feel great myself. I mean, I don't go nowhere. I come to my brother's house, eat, say some prayers, and have some fun, and go back home. That's it for me. You know what I mean? Now we be working on my projects, but that means I get more done too, because I ain't got no place else to go.
Nothing to do. Ain't got nowhere to go. Going nowhere fast.
Yes, I think it's a good thing. Tighten up and get smart, do a little more reading, get some results. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think of in the UK right now? It's just been announced that we're still on a slight lockdown over here, but it's just been announced that churches are reopening on July. I think tomorrow they're reopening tomorrow. But when you're in church, you're not allowed to sing out loud, because they reckon that with your throat you can cause some kind of COVID spread. What's your thoughts on this? And is that the case in the US as well?
They just sent that ban out in California last night. I got that breaking news last night, that they don't want you singing or praying out loud in the church. And if you ask me, man, that's a whole nother level. That's an overlay for the underplay. Because when you stop people from praising God, you in trouble. To me, you ask me, that's a part where that's off limits. You leave what happens in the house of God alone. Government, stay out of that, because now you're tapping on dangerous territory. You're telling people not to sing. Sometimes sing is the only thing that's going to help people through this.
This is what, and what you just said, my mom just said exactly the same thing. You know, she was like, what? Can't believe that's how we're going to get through. Your whole point, you know.
Man, can you imagine a world where people can't pray out loud or sing to their God? That's the territory. That's where I think we're going too far, man. And that's when you look for, when we start going on in that territory, look out. You know, go in the house and retreat, because you messing with God now. You telling my people not to praise me because of a spread of if God want to wipe the COVID-19 out today, it could be wiped out.
Exactly.
But you don't tell them not to praise God. That's what you don't do. You can tell them, hey, be careful when you sing and don't be all in somebody's face. Keep the 6 feet. But you lift your voice and give God praise, because that's what's going to deliver us. Lifting his name up and giving him praise and telling him, God, help us. Help us. If you don't have that, what do you have? You're down here with an evil that's ready to consume you, because you have no way to connect with God. They shut your mouth. And it reminds me, I hate to go deep. I ain't trying to go super deep on the show, man. Because I can go super deep. I'm a preacher, Doc.
Yeah.
You did know that. You know he's preaching.
Yeah, of course. Go ahead, though. We love that godly counsel right now. We need that.
Yeah, very
Whenever anybody makes an attempt, in whatever name they're doing it in the name of trying to keep you healthy, whatever, whenever somebody tries to silence your praise or silence your singing or silence your chant, they call it chanting, we call it prayers to God, it's really a spirit of Jezebel that have come to silence the voice of God. The Bible says, faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. If you cannot hear faith, you cannot have faith. If you cannot hear somebody testify or singing to a God, that increases your faith. But if you silence it, now you have no faith. Now, when faith is diminished, what's the opposite of faith? Fear comes in. So now you're really opening the door for fear. And where there's fear, darkness can take over. So it's really a spirit of Jezebel. In the Bible days, Jezebel, y'all know the story of Jezebel. She had an agenda to silence singing, silence praising or prayers in the temple. She said, anybody that's singing about God, praying to God, go and kill him. Find every priest that's letting people hear the truth or singing the truth or feeling that spirit or causing the spirit of God to flow. Go stop it, because I want to convert people from serving God to serving Baal. So she started erecting all these other temples of Baal and worship. It was crazy. And so when I think about that, my mind goes, oh, man, they trying to silence prayers. We in trouble. We in trouble.
So how did you guys meet? What's the relationship? Talk to me. Like, what's that relationship, you know?
Go ahead,
we met at his church. My lady, I'm doing a show called Azusa, where the Holy Spirit came down on Azusa Street and had people walking and speaking in tongues and coming out of wheelchairs and everything. And it was basically set up by William Seymour, black man. Okay. Him and 7 people started it, which took it into 650 million Pentecostals. At any rate, I'm doing the story, the musical and movie. And my lady said to me, I said, I got to find me a Seymour that can really play this part. She said, you ought to hear Deiltrick sing. And I said, who is he? She said, let's go over to his church and you'll see. So I came over. And when I heard him sing, I'm hearing Marvin Gaye, I'm hearing Stevie Wonder, a little Levi's, all in one voice.
I don't know about that. Marvin Gaye. That's a level.
I know, but that's I got Marvin Gaye, so I know what I'm talking about.
Come on now.
So I said, wow, this guy's got it all in with a great gift. So when he finished singing, he started preaching. I said, wait a minute. And then he's preaching, he get him off the stand, off the pulpit, come down, lay hands on a couple of people, they get carried away and being healed and all that stuff. I said, wait a minute. Look like I got me a Seymour here, a natural Seymour. So I go back home, tell my son, and I said, listen, I want you to come go with me and see this guy preach and sing. And he said, why, Dad? I said, well, he lays hands on people. And they was being healed and all that. He said, come on, Dad, you know, ain't nothing but a way to make some money for the church. I said, yeah, but this came off a little bit different. He said, okay. I said, let's go to Sunday. We go back together. And, of course, they got me sitting down front this time. And sure enough, teacher get up, start singing. My son hunked inside. He said, man, this guy's got a great voice. He's got a whole thing right there. I said, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till he start preaching. He don't preach. He comes talking about he got a guest minister for the day. Oh, man, I can't get out because I'm down front. I can't slip out like I would normally do, you know?
I don't feel no unction there.
So this guy gets up, much older. He starts preaching. Does a great job. He comes off the stand, walked down front, saved a few people, touched them. They fell out the chairs and everything. Goes back to the pulpit, stops, turn around, looked at my son and say, you got a prostate problem. Now that did it. My son started crying. I'm looking at him. He ain't never seen me before. And he said, you're going to be healed. But he said, the point is that when you talk to people, you're going to have something to say because you got a reason for saying it. You know, that's the whole idea. He said, so believe in yourself, blah, 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 blah. He goes back up on the stand. That's it. Went on, preached, it was over. We leave. And my son said, I said, how you feel? He said, I'm feeling okay. So I said, you remember what God said? Now you got to believe you're going to be all right and blah, blah, blah. He said, okay. I go home. I'm sitting down on the side of my bed and look like the Holy Spirit say, pow, right upside my head. He said, do you believe it now? I said, okay. I started going back to the church, never left. Now he's my pastor, Deiltrick.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
I'm the pastor of a Motown legend. You know, he found Marvin, Gaye, Stevie Wonder. He brought all of those great gifts to Motown. So we wouldn't have had all those great songs that have blessed us down through the years if it wasn't for this man as the A&R. And the A&R.
Yeah. So
very important.
Yeah.
Mickey Stevenson, let me ask you, a golden question. So, how did you first come across a young Stevie Wonder, a young Marvin Gaye?
Okay, all right. I'll give you. Which one you want to know about?
Give me Stevie Wonder first.
All right, first. I like the way you go with this. Okay. I'll make sure you get the book too. The A&R Man, Motown's first.
Yeah. There we go.
I had a singing partner before I got to Motown. Name was Clarence Paul. He and I used to do Sam and Dave kind of singing around the city, you know. And when I got the Motown job, as the A&R man, I brought him in as my assistant, and his job was to, shall we say, do the fill-ins in those albums. You have 1-2 records on it, then you have a lot of B-sides, but you had to have the first and the second release so you can move that album. And he was very good at that. But he wasn't producing any of the major artists because they were all given out. I had some, Holland and Dozier, Smokey had them. We all had our own people we're dealing with. So he's running into a little problem, and I'm saying I'm going to have to let him go because he can't do. I can't let him do what he want to do, is produce some of the major acts. And he wanted to talk to me. So he came to my office. He said, Mick, look, man, I got to leave. This ain't happening for me. I said, okay, man, do what you got to do. He said, but I got one more thing. I said, what's that? He said, I found this little kid that I want to cut a couple of tunes on it. And if I'm right, maybe things will change for me. And I said to him, well, now I feel good because I can let him go properly. So I said, okay, no problem. He said, one more thing. I said, what's that? He said, he's about 11 years old. I said, hold it, man. I mean, 11-year-old kid around here, come on. What you going to do with that? He said, you told me I could do it. I said, okay. He said, your word's your bond, man. I said, okay, 11-year-old kid, you got it. He said, one more thing. I said, what's that? He said, he's blind. I said, get out of here, man. You going to bring an 11-year-old blind kid in here? Come on, that ain't going to work. He said, William. He said, wait, William R. They call me William R. Stevenson. He said, wait a minute, man, but you said I could do it. I said, Clarence Paul, let me tell you something. I'm going to catch hell with Barry and them, with this kid around here. I said, if he fall to do something, I'm going to be in trouble. I say, so here's the deal. You bring that little super kid with you. Every time I see him, I want to see you, hand in hand. He said, okay. He leaves. He comes back 2 weeks later. We got a session going on. The session breaking down. Musicians are still kind of cooling it. You know how they break down at the end? Everybody kind of add little stuff in. Clarence walks in with Stevie Wonder. So he wasn't Wonder then. It was still, I call him the Wonder Kid. He comes in. Yeah. Clarence takes him over to the drums. The little kid feels where the drums are. The drummer get up. Stevie goes right into the pocket. Pop! Right on the pocket, right there, man. Them didn't miss a lick. Clarence took him off the drums, walked him over to the organ. He feels where the organ is. Start playing. The group, now the band is getting to cook. The band is getting deep now. They say, like, what's going on here? Take him over, Clarence, take him over to the microphone. Stevie reach in his pocket, pull out his harmonica. Now the groove is cooking. Now the band is loving it. He started blowing. And everybody look at that. Then he takes the mic away and says, oh, baby. Never misses a beat. Everybody's in shock. I'm in shock. I told Clarence Paul, I said, okay, man, you got it. And that's how Stevie Wonder got to Motown. Barry said to me, what are we doing? I said, sign this right here. I was bringing contact. He said, what? I said, sign it. He said, but it's a kid, 11 years old. I said, he's gifted. Sign it. He said, what are we going to do with him? I said, I don't know. Sign it. He said, William R., you better be right about this. He signed it. That's how Stevie got to Motown. Took off like a rocket.
What a story. Classic stories right there.
Yeah.
Classic stories right there.
Absolute truth. Absolutely.
Amazing. Shout out to everybody in the live right now. Deiltrick Haddon, Dan Blake, Mickey Stevenson, Music Worldwide, UK to the USA. We're looking up right now. Make sure you get Mickey Stevenson's book, The A&R Man, is out now. And also Deiltrick Haddon's brand new album, Time, is out there in the world now. Make sure you go and support that. And talking of your album right now, Time, which is out now, I've been really taking in some of the music. I Can't Breathe. Very powerful record. Your approach to the writing in that song. Just describe what the day was like when you wrote that song from start to finish. Give me the start to finish quick process of that song. I Can't Breathe.
Well, our church had organized our own protest, peaceful protest, and we wanted to do it ourselves because we want no looters to come on in there and turn something good into something horrible. So we did it ourselves, and I think after that Sunday protest we did that morning, I was just at home relaxing, and this melody just hit me. It hit me, and I ran and told, when I get something good, I share it with my wife, and the first part I got was the verse. Our brother's name was George. He walked into the store. His money was low, and they called him a criminal. You know what I'm saying? They called authorities. They put They put handcuffs on me, but when I tried to explain, they responded with a knee. So I went and told my wife, and she said, "That's special." And when she told me that's special, because she's my toughest critic. She let me know that ain't good.
She's tough too.
She said, "Oh no." She said, "No, go back to the drum. Everybody needs somebody like that in your life to tell you that ain't good. Go back to the drum board." But yeah, and then that day, Mickey always comes over, him and his fiance. Mickey's like my best friend in the whole wide world. And I like sitting down. All the stories you just got, I love to sit down and just hear all the stuff. I mean, I get the stuff folks don't know. I get the real scoop. Hey, man, every Sunday, it's the joy of my life to hear a story about one of my superstars that I love so dearly. And it doesn't change my love for them. It just gives me a perspective because I'm an artist myself, so I know what goes on behind the scenes. You know, so it just So I love it. Mickey came over that Sunday. I said, "Mickey, listen to this." Gave him the melody, and Mickey jumped right in and gave me the perfect lyrics to just bring it even that much more home. And together, we finished that song, "I Can't Breathe."
Yeah. And so right to the studio. We didn't waste no time.
We ain't playing no games, Doc. We went right, I think it was that Monday, went in the studio. Then I called my partner, T Church, and my videographer. He came in and shot it right after we sang. Right after I sang it, the video guy came in and recorded me on the piano singing it. And so that's how you got the song, you know. And we looked up, Whoopi Goldberg playing it on The View.
I mean, big time.
You know, it happened just that quick. Bop, 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 bop. And everybody's calling us everywhere, trying to see how do we came up with this song? How do we, when can we play it? Can we do it? We get a great response everywhere. And so we just, I think it's important. And when I thought about George Floyd and everybody, whether it be Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Eric Gardner, everybody who's been dealt with unjustly, The beautiful thing about people like Stevie Wonder, Sam Cooke, Donny Hathaway, they sang the songs. Their songs were the soundtrack of the time and era. Their songs were the movement, the sound of the movement.
Yes.
So that made their songs that much more important. They sang about what they were seeing and what they were feeling. They sang about the march. That's how you got, I was born by the river in a little tent, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Yeah, that's how he sang from the soul. Yeah, yes. And so I just thought, man, that's what I want to do. I want to sing music that matters. I want to sing about what I'm seeing. I want to sing about what I'm feeling. You know, I'm a gospel singer. They expect you to sing be one-dimensional. But I think they want us to just be vertical, you know, from here to God, talking about God, you know. But what about what you're experiencing horizontally in your life, in your immediate space? And so, this is one of those horizontal songs where I'm talking about what we're all experiencing. We're all in quarantine. We're all in a pandemic, whether you're in the UK or US. We're all experiencing the same thing. You guys are experiencing classism and racism in an unprecedented way.
Big time.
Big time. It's everywhere. So we got to sing about it. Got to sing about it.
That keep everybody paying attention. It's time to pay attention. Yeah, that makes it happen. And you can see now when I heard him sing and when I got with him as a man and as a minister and as a brother, the truth stays up front. He don't hide it. He brings it right to the table. I love that. You know, people hide that stuff. They want to be okay and be everybody's friend. It don't work like that. No. Truth is the light, and he comes right out with it. You know, you don't hesitate to say that. I think that's phenomenal.
Wow, gem talk right there. And I just want to know a bit about your heritage, Mickey. Your heritage, your musical influences, yourself. You know, as a producer, songwriter.
Well, I got to make sure you get my book because it's all in there. I put it all down. My mother was an artist. She was a writer, a conga player, and singer. And matter of fact, she got some songs in London right now. They come out. They re-release some of her products.
Wow.
I had Ace Records send it to me. And Kitty Brown Gayle Stevenson was her name. Anyway, she taught me and my brothers how to sing, not how to sing, how to make harmonies. Yeah, and we did, but she also was strict on whatever you want to do, you got to believe in it and stay with it. It won't just happen without your total focus on it. And that was one of the things that I learned from her in rehearsing when I didn't want to rehearse and all that. We did the Apollo Theater as kids. And because of the way she worked with us, we won the contest, which was incredible. Against all those supposed to be great artists up there, we came out 3 guys, 3 kids, and we tore it apart. But she taught me to stay focused no matter what. If you don't stay focused, you will not succeed. And I watched her, and I learned that. And I brought that with me into my life as a writer, producer, whatever. I stayed with that. And to this very day, when I'm on to something, I'm on until it's finished. I got to finish it. And that helped me when I dealt with other artists. I could actually explain that to them, to Marvin Gaye, to Stevie, to the Four Tops. I tell them, okay, it's okay, you're singing, that's fine. Okay, what about your movements? Where's your hands? What are you thinking when that's what made the Motown artists, not me personally, but that concept made them who wanted to listen become great on stage. My point was, you cannot, having a record, you're heard. When people see you, they can lose the belief in the record by what you do on stage.
Wow.
If you bring them something there, the record may not be as good, but they'll still love you. So you got a double bubble going right there.
Right.
That means you got to put something into what you believe in. You with me?
Yeah, personality, for sure.
Yeah, so.
Can I say this? Mickey is being inducted into the National Songwriters Hall of Fame. International Songwriters Hall of Fame. That's not national. That's all over.
Yeah, absolutely legendary. Congratulations, Mickey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Other artists that are in the Hall of Fame are the Beatles.
Yeah, Beatles, Holland Dozier,
Michael Jackson.
You know what's amazing? Now, Holland and Dozier, I got to say this stuff. Holland Dozier, they had 10 #1 hits on the Supremes. It took them 20 years to bring them to the Hall of Fame. 10 #1. How you do 10 #1 records? I mean, is that a gift from God or is that a gift from God?
Yeah,
so this thing has been held back. In my book, I wrote down where certain tunes I did with a guy named Ron Miller. Did For Once in My Life. Great songwriter.
Yeah.
I had to change my name to Avery Vandenberg. Brian had a Jewish name. We had to change our names to get paid. Now, this stuff been going on a long time. That's why I'm saying people say, 400 years, that ain't changed. They just covered it in a different format.
They didn't want the black man to get his money.
Can you believe it?
Y'all to change the name.
You got to pay us. And Deiltrick, you've got a record which I call it a lyric check. I do a thing where I look at the lyrics and I kind of break down a line, and I want you to kind of give me the vibe and energy of that line when you wrote it, man. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was checking out the album, and there was a record on the album. I believe it's called Abundant Life.
Yeah.
And you say, please. And you say, somebody didn't make it to see the morning sun. The fact that you're still breathing, you've already won. That's a big line. I love that, man.
Yeah, that's a line. You ain't know I put that in there.
No, that's great, man.
Somebody didn't even make it to see the morning sun. The fact that you're still breathing means you already won. And that's and when I wrote it, we wasn't in a pandemic. When I wrote that, so I feel like it was prophetic, because we've had significant loss this year. This year within itself we've all experienced some kind of loss.
Oh yeah.
And I lost my aunt to this. Many people. Yeah, man, it's tough. But every day, man, I've never really taken the time to appreciate just breath in my body and the little things. I think this is what the pandemic and the quarantine has caused us to do. Pay attention to the little things.
Pay attention.
Because my whole life has been about events, the next event, the next concert, the next country singing. It's on the go. Yeah. And this pandemic has settled me down in my house, in my life, to appreciate my children, to appreciate my wife, to appreciate my life. Every day somebody's dying. Every day. The numbers are going up every day. In just California alone, 6,600 people tested positive for the COVID. Many people died. And so that line is a serious line. Somebody didn't even make it to see the morning sun.
I love
the fact
that
you're still breathing. You've already won.
Come on.
That's great. It's
great. Brother, it's a great album, man. I have to salute you. Like the energy I feel when I put that on, I've been going for my jogs, my runs, it's been really uplifting, inspiring me, bro. And then let's quickly go back to I Can't Breathe. There's another line, a quick lyric check. I'm a lyrics man, so I love to check a quick lyric. You say, I know I'm a strong black man, but please don't be afraid of what you see. Just like you, I'm trying to raise my family. That line, I feel you so much.
Now, my line is, I know I'm a strong black man, but please don't be afraid of what you see. Mickey Stevenson comes in and wraps it up and says, just like you, I'm trying to raise my family. Remove your knee so I can't breathe. Two geniuses, two musical scientists working together. He brought it home. Because I was just thinking, like, man, when they see us, they have an automatic fear of us.
Yeah.
By the middle. They think we're some just big mandingo.
Yeah.
When they look at black men, they're afraid. But we're telling them, I'm a strong black man. I can't help it.
And it don't matter what size you are. Being big, small, it don't even matter.
Still got to get some food and take care of my family.
Yes.
Can I do that, please?
Yeah.
I can't help that I'm a strong black man.
Can't help it, bro.
God made me this way. I'm proud of my heritage. So don't be afraid of what you see. There's no reason for you to be afraid. I'm not attacking you. I'm minding my business. And then Mickey said, just like you. Think about it. This is not a skin thing. It's a humanity thing.
Yeah.
Just like you. We're all human beings trying to raise our families, have a heritage, leave a legacy. We don't want to die at your knee. I didn't live this life for me to die at the end at your knee or your stupidity or your police brutality. What kind of foolishness is that? I worked too hard for that.
Nonsense. Yeah, man. And one more lyric check.
I got you. You working it. It's the truth.
So Mickey, I want to talk about your book. You know, I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it. Don't worry, I'm going to get to it. Please let the people know where they can get the book, support the book, and just if people haven't read it yet, just tell them a quick, brief, promotion of what they can expect from your book and your legacy within this book in the world of A&R.
Okay, you can get the book on Amazon or go to my site. And it's the A&R Man, Motown's First. And what you'll get out of it is what I purposely laid in is the fact that if you believe in what you do, go after it. It will not just happen because you're thinking about it. You got to spend, and I make this clear, there's 24 hours of the day. 8 you sleep, 8 you work. What are you doing with the other 8? If you can't account for all 8 of those hours, you are losing.
Wow.
Now, if you put in 3 hours on something, you'll get some results. You put in 5, you will make a living with it. You go past that, it's unstoppable.
Ooh, gem talk.
Right. Wow. No matter what your name is, no matter what color you are, you must make that work. Now, people like me and Deiltrick, and I'm sure you not only get in 8, you be getting in 12, which is phenomenal. I know you're getting in 12, and I know he's getting in 12.
We put in 22 and get 2 hours of sleep.
But it's very important. So I break it down. So they can see, how much and why. And then I go through some of the artists that I had the opportunity to bring to Motown. I got some great songs out there, no question. Dancing in the Street, Pride and Joy, Stubborn Kind of Color, My Baby Loves Me, Beachwood. I got some great songs out there. It Takes Two. And the Devil with the Blue Dress. But here's the I found better writers than me. I am so proud of that. The writers I brought in were phenomenal. Yeah. Norman Whitfield. I got brought Holland and Doge, teamed them up. They were in, one was one place else, 2 over here. I put them together. I mean, it's incredible. Shorty Long. I mean, I can name them. But they came out to do great songs, and they become great. So artists became great artists, and it dawned on me that was a gift given to me by God. So I don't want to take the credit for it. Like, oh, look, I'm Mickey Hughes. Huh? It didn't work like that. Right. I was doing it, not knowing what I was doing. You follow me?
Wow.
So that's the gift. Like Stevie got his gift, you got your gift. Deiltrick got his gift. That was my gift. And when you know what your gift is, now you got to know why you got it. You figure out why you got it was the purpose for the man upstairs, which means we're supposed to do things where we draw audiences. The audiences come to see or hear, like you, what we do, so we can explain to them this is God's gift. Know who he is. If you take that out, I hate to say this, but it's true, you ain't going to be around too long.
Wow.
Take God out the picture like you the one, you did all this, you got a problem.
Happens every time.
You keep him in there, you be around a long time because you're doing what you're here to do. And somebody told me, I said, man, I want to do this show, I got to do this, that, and other. I'm going to raise some money up there. And somebody said to me, your mom, he said, you don't need God to pay, you don't do the work. God don't need you to pay his bills. He'll make sure you get what you need to make it work. I love that. You follow what I'm saying?
He gave you the vision. He'll make provision.
He gonna make provision for you.
And Deiltrick, the album Time is out there in the world now. Tell us why the title Time.
Oh man, I think it's prophetic. Well, first, I was just trying to celebrate my time in the business. It's almost 30 years of being in gospel music. You know, a lot of people don't know that. You know, they say Deiltrick's young, but I've been out here. I got some miles on my bones when it comes to traveling and doing concerts and doing this. So I wanted to stop and celebrate my time. You know, and sometimes you got to celebrate what you've done and what you've accomplished before you go for more. You know. And sometimes when you're reaching for so much and you neglect what you've already done, it's a sign of ungratefulness. So it was my way of saying, I appreciate the life God has given me. I appreciate the gift he's given me. This album is going to be dedicated to time. Truth, T-I-M-E. Truth is my energy. My energy is because I've stayed true to my gift, true to my calling, true to my assignment, and that keeps me fresh, you know. And so I'm preaching the same message to everybody, you know. You can redeem the time if you stay true to who you are and true to what you're called to do.
Wow. Mickey, what would you say makes a good A&R? What do you need to be a good A&R for all the up-and-coming A&Rs out there that would want some gems from a legend like yourself in the business? What does it take to be a good A&R in the music industry and have some longevity in the game?
Well, the first thing, I've been asked this question before, and I used to come up with a lot of answers to it. But bottom line is this: you got to remove your ego. You see, when you keep your ego in the picture, you're comparing whoever you're dealing with to where you're coming from. You got to see where they're coming from. So to do that, you got to take the ego out the way. Now you let the freedom and the talent of the individual come forward. You can decide on, is that talent worth you helping develop, or is that song working? Sometimes when the ego is out of the way, the voice may not be great, but the song that they're doing is phenomenal. So that makes it still work. If the ego's in the way, the song is okay, but he should have a greater voice. All this stuff gets all into the picture, which should be removed. That's a tough one, and it takes time to recognize that. Sometimes you got to walk out the room, take a deep breath, go back in, and say, now do that again. Because you got to remove your ego. That's the beginning of making a good A&R man, a good listener. If you got the ego in the way, you ain't listening.
Good listener. That's it.
Wow. And so what would you say, you know, A&Rs right now, I feel like sometimes A&Rs can get in a situation where they want to be a manager. So what would you say, is there like a difference between the A&R and the manager? Because sometimes I feel there's like a conflicting issue between the two roles.
Well, an A&R man could be a manager if he's got the experience. And you got the gift of A&R is one thing, and the gift of management is another. Management is something you acquire, you learn how to deal with that. You got to make mistakes and have some failures and have some winners, and you start putting it together. So it's you know, it's like that's a whole nother ball game. A&R, you can come from that, and from an A&R man to a manager, but you got to have experience as a manager. So other than that, just have a manager. Those are just words. You know what I mean? Now, what can you do as a manager? Oh, you're going to do music? Well, that's back to A&R. What about as a manager? Can you get the people to back the project? Can you make the deal? You know the terms, the best terms to make for your artist? Can you convince your artist to do the right job, to do the right thing and not do this? And here's why this is better than that. That takes experience.
So what you're telling me, what I'm learning is A&R is managing the music.
Exactly.
But being a manager is managing the artist.
That's a business.
Business, right. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's some gems right there. That's some gems.
Yeah.
Wow. And so the book is out there right now, A&R Man, Mickey Stevenson's. Make sure you go and support that. Please let them know about your website as well, Mickey, please.
Now I'm a little off on these things. My website is just, you just put my name in there and everything jumps up. That's all I can tell you. My lady happens all that. So just put in Mickey Stevenson and everything will be all over the place.
Okay, we got a quick question here. Quick question from the audience right now. Big shouts to BQ Folly Face. She says, "What is the difference between personal management and biz and I think showbiz management?"
No difference. Personal means you personally handling that particular artist. That's all. Now, that management, if you're saying if they in other fields, a good manager can take, like with me and my brother here, an artist one way. Here comes a deal in buying real estate. I got to go get somebody else that handles real estate to get the right deal so he can get the right deal. Other than that, that's not my forte. Are you with me? So you got to watch what you're mixing it up. You're talking about moving product, records, and gigs and music style. That's one thing. If I'm going to step out of that field, I better be smart enough to get attorneys or something to take me in that field that know what they're doing.
Right.
What would you say has been your highlight real moment for you personally, Mickey Stevenson? You know, in the whole A&R business, what has been, would you say, the height of your career? A moment for you personally that you can share with us? You know, that was just something that you'll never forget. And in the moment, it was classic, and you still remember it to this day.
That's a tough one.
Jeez.
Because everything that took off was a highlight to me. The unusual song, that was, I was going to say "Dancing in the Street," but when we heard it come together, we said that's going to be a #1 record, and it did 3 or 4 times. So it's not about a song. I think the best thing that happened was to see the Motown artists come together from a lot of information that I had the gift to give them, and Barry had the gift to allow me to give it to them, to see those Motown productions come together individually and collectively and move past artists like they were standing still. That, to me, was incredible, to watch that happen. And to have this company recognize itself in the place that it is 60 years later, as strong as it was when it was started, that is phenomenal. But that's all God's doing. But that is absolutely phenomenal. Unbelievable.
Wow. And Deiltrick, who are you currently in the studio with now? What have we got to come now? The album's out. What's the process? What are you up to right now? What's going on music-wise for you?
Well, I was in the studio yesterday with Moby. He's and you know Moby, the artist Moby?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a record. I did one of his classic hits. He has a record coming out in 21, and I was able to collaborate with him on that. So awesome. The session yesterday was incredible. A lot of his records came out in the UK. I believe the label that he's with is with is it Muse or Muse in the UK? Is it Muse or Mute? What is it? Muse? Mute. Yeah. The label. The record label that he's with is based out of the UK.
Okay, cool. Okay.
And a lot of his platinum records were. Yeah, so I'm excited about that song and that project, and we're going to do some more things together. I'm getting ready to do an album that's in the same vein as I Can't Breathe, kind of speaking to where we are. It's not a quote-unquote gospel record. It's a life record. It's the soundtrack of where we are in life, So I'm excited about that. I'm getting ready to go into the lab to start on that in a couple of weeks. Just gathering the songs and things like that, collaborating with Mickey.
That's going to be fantastic. I mean, you'll hear, the voice, you can hear his voice on everything he does, but the intensity, the emotional sound that comes out of him when he's really into a song is phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, it is, you already know that, but I'm just saying, it's just, so for him to do other songs as well, that's going to be absolutely great. I can't wait to get to that.
So I'm excited about that. Open Door Season is the #1 gospel song in the country here for 4 weeks in a row.
It's a big song as well, Open Day Season. That's a big song.
Yes, the #1 song for 4 weeks consecutively. 4 weeks in a row. So I'm excited about that.
There's a song I'm trying to. I'm really trying to remember. Like, there's a song on the album.
Through your album, bro.
Yeah, I love it.
You be talking about. You said something about being the gospel MJ or something like that. Moonwalking the water. No, was that line? Did I get the line right? You said
you got the line. You got the line. And, you know, you got to do your big talk. You got to talk that talk. You know, let people know where you at.
Yo, the line goes like, Deiltrick says, "I'm gospel's MJ, moonwalking on water." How about that?
What is it?
I said, MJ up gospel. A moonwalk on the water. You know, I took that line. You know, Jesus walked on water, being a Christian. You know, and just saying, you know, hey, you know, I don't see anything wrong with gospel artists. You know, talking that talk. You know, when you feel it. That was one of those days. I was like, I got gorilla faith. You know what I'm saying? I ain't on no mustard seeds faith. I ain't on no small stuff. I'm going for the big stuff. And the only way I can articulate it was I got gorilla faith. Shout out to Zaytoven, who produced it and wrote it with me. Zaytoven, the man. And we did it.
Yo, gorilla faith, that record. MC on it. The MC, is it LA?
Young LA.
Yo, that record is hard, man. That's like some gospel trap, bro. You know?
Big time. You know, one of my best, Zaytoven is my brother. You know, he's the godfather of trap. Yeah. He launched Gucci Mane, all of them, the Migos. He had all of them. He started really that sound. He's one of the guys who started it, and so he's respected. I was able to write 3 songs off Usher's record last year because of Zaytoven. Zaytoven, that's my brother. So we got some other stuff brewing. I love to collaborate and infuse gospel music with other genres like trap music. It's incredible, you know. And that's the thing about gospel and the message of the gospel. It has no restrictions. You can put it in any form, you know, and it does what it does.
And Mickey, you made one of my favorite records of all time, bro. It Takes Two, you know. That's my tune. Tell us about the writing process. You know, tell us the moment when you wrote that, how that came together with the story behind It Takes Two. I don't even want to start singing because it's not my forte. But,
no, you can say a few lines. Sing a few lines.
It takes two, baby.
I was doing a duet. I was doing an album with Marvin, Gaye, and the girls.
Yeah.
You know, each one of the girls in the company, and that song came from that, out of that batch, and they had a real camaraderie sound together, the two of them, when they did that song, and that was good. I didn't have some specific idea when it came up with it. It just flowed. You know, the song just flowed out. It didn't have a reason.
Now, who was the artist that did that with him?
Marvin Gaye and Kim Weston.
Oh, okay, Kim Weston.
And Kim Weston was one of my wives at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
He was married to one of the Motown girls?
Yeah.
The A&R man married the artist on the label. Oh, man.
And she was mad at me because I took Dancing in the Street from her and gave it to Marvin.
You took it from your wife and gave it to another artist on the label.
Yeah.
That's trouble in your house now.
Well, but the song was a hit on that artist.
That's all you care
and
about.
That was my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it became a hit worldwide forever.
Wow.
What would be
anyway?
What would be a gem of advice you would give to musicians, you know, in coming into the game? Because again, there's so much artists that are trying to come into the music industry, and you being a man of so much leveled experience in A&R, what are the tools needed for musicians in 2020 now to make it, you know, from your view?
Well, now, I mean, what people didn't recognize, it was like the feeling that the musicians, the Motown music, Funk Brothers, shall we say, that I put together as a unit, they were all readers. They didn't just play. Yeah. I mean, each one of those guys could read and write. And that was my point. When I got them, I wanted jazz musicians that would play R&B. So it took me a long time to get. I had to get them one at a time, and a couple of them they wouldn't completely give in to R&B, but they would feel it. Like Joe Messina on guitar, he was like a real jazz guitar player, but he was constant. He stayed solid in his place, so he would play like the licks, like chink 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 chink, chink, and he would just stay there through the whole song. Where I have other people that can run all over the place. Mm-hmm. But when he set that bass, set that solid sound, it wouldn't move. So you knew you could go someplace and get right back to him. But my point is to make this clear, it is good for them to learn to read music. That's my whole point. Now the gift with the reading makes you phenomenal. The gift without the reading makes you always hunting. Always hunting. All right?
Wow, that's a gem right there. That's a gem. Wow. Yeah, this is just full of gems. This talk right now, you know, it's legendary, man. I really thank you guys for checking in. You know, it's been a pleasure. Let's have a bit of fun now. So we do a thing on my show. We call it the language check. So I need some kind of slang or terminology that you can share with us that you use that we wouldn't know in the UK.
Oh, wait a minute. That's slang that they wouldn't know in the UK.
Okay, slang. Now, what slang would they wouldn't know? But you're in UK. Y'all say everything over there.
We all say the same thing.
Yeah.
But I know you got a something that I'm not familiar with that you say. A little something, you know, that you can share. But one little word.
And we say. Yes, man.
Well, I'm kind of.
It's slipping my mind.
Yeah. Oh man! I tell you what. Give me an idea.
Let me get my one.
She'll come with something.
She got all kinds of stuff.
And you say something from that end, and then maybe give me an idea. Say something from your end that we wouldn't say. Help me out.
So sometimes in the UK, when something is like, you know, it's fire, it's good, it's a really good track, we say, yo, that track is lit.
We say that too.
Lit?
That means it's on fire.
It's on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that one. No, you got to come up with something better than that. Come on.
Let me see.
We trying to get away with it. Come on.
I say like when I see somebody, I say, Wagwan, how's everything? Everything blessed. That's me all the time. Wagwan, everything blessed. So it's kind of Jamaican. Yeah, Wagwan. You heard that?
Wagwan. Okay.
Yeah. Wagwan. Okay. So next time you see some of the family and friends, they say, Wagwan, how's everything?
Wagwan.
Wagwan. Okay.
How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah.
And I say now I like to say that's deep. Now was that word?
Yeah. Like,
say that?
Yeah, that's deep. Like, yeah, that's deep. Like, yeah, that's deep. Even Wagwan can be like, that's deep. Like, bro, that track there, it takes two. Wagwan. Bro, that's deep.
Wagwan.
Wagwan about your business. No.
About your business. Wagwan somewhere.
Bro, this is about to cut out. Can we connect back in quickly and close out?
Yes, we can. We'll come right back.
All right, yeah, that's it.
All right.
Just close out.
What do you say is happening?
Yeah.
Collabs coming with Zeeks as well. I forgot to mention that too, actually. But I met Zeeks through Diggy Ussel.